So out of 4.6 million votes picked from an extensive gallery of characters, Uchiha Itachi, Konoha's secret hero, was ranked second place, just behind Minato in the Narutop99 popularity poll, a worldwide popularity contest to vote for the most popular Naruto characters from the original manga. The winner, Minato, was featured in a one-shot manga drawn by Kishimoto, and the top 20 characters were featured in a special group shot portrayed slightly different to how they appeared in the manga, wielding very cool additions to their usual arsenal of weapons. Naruto got a flag, Sasuke got a Chidori bow and arrow, Sakura got a giant axe, and Itachi, our man for today's review, received a rather uninspiring but still cool looking katana. S.H.Figuarts Narutop99 Uchiha Itachi was released on the 31st of August as a regular release and retails for 9,000 yen or about $70 depending on where you pick it up. Alright, let's get to it. Uchiha Itachi. So let's start off with that cloth goods wired Akatsuki cloak that we all wanted as collectors and wouldn't have accepted otherwise if the figure came without. For the most part, I think Tamashii did a pretty good job, and they're definitely improving with their soft goods accessories for a company that's not really known for cloth goods, capes, and clothing. It's a two-layered, fully wired cloak, black on the outside with a maroon red inner lining. The wires run through the edges of the cloak all the way to the bottom, so you do have a lot of freedom with posability. There's a little hook and latch in the center of the cloak which allows you to get Itachi in his iconic arm out of sleeves resting pose. But what I really like about the cloak is how the red Akatsuki cloud designs are done. Before getting this in hand, I assumed it would be printed on, like you see with kids t-shirts, you know, where it's like a heat transfer design. The design would be clean, but over time with exposure to sunlight and humidity would just peel off and flake. But what Tamashii have done here is dye or silk screen the design into the material. So yes, there probably is a chance of bleeding the colors together during the process, but everything turned out really good. If you're not into cloth goods, then this probably isn't into you, and I totally get it. It doesn't look as dynamic as sculpted plastic, but I think for what it is, Tamashii did a pretty good job here. Alright, let's see what's underneath that cloak, because we get a completely brand new figure from head to toe. Itachi doesn't necessarily have the most complicated costume design. It's basically a black tunic with a white belt, 3/4 pants, and your classic Naruto type ninja shoes. But I will say this, the details like his mesh underarmor, necklace, Akatsuki ring, and dark blue fingernails are done really well and definitely make you look twice. I love the usage of hard and soft plastics with Itachi. The bottom half of the tunic is a softer rubbery plastic which allows you maximum range in the legs, and the shoulder joints are also made of that softer rubbery plastic as well, again allowing for more flexibility in the shoulders. Fantastic. If you like your shinobi tall, dark, and handsome, then you're gonna love these head sculpts. Itachi isn't necessarily known for being the most expressive person for obvious reasons, but we do get a good selection of expressions, ranging from a subtle looking off to the side face, a fireball jutsu blowing expression, a teeth gritting in-fight faceplate, and your iconic one-eyed Mangekyo Sharingan expression. The printing is nice and crisp. You have your lines down the side of Itachi's face as you should. You can see all the details in the Sharingan, and you have the scratched out forehead band nicely sculpted in there as well. Itachi's little ponytail is on a ball joint, so you do get a bit of movement going on there when posing. Alright, so let's take a look at the articulation, and again, Itachi does have the advantage of not being overly complicated. His costume is relatively simple. There really isn't anything that's getting in the way except the back of his hair here. It's not his ponytail, but because he does have kind of long hair at the front and the back, when you move his head up, it does kind of get in the way. But like I said, the ponytail is on a ball joint, so you can move it around. No problems there. He gets really good side to side head tilt. And before I forget, he does look down really well. Good for looking down on Sasuke. And you do have left and right rotation as well. So yeah, the only thing is, looking up. His shoulders, you do have these, softer rubbery plastic parts here on the shoulders, so he does get pretty good range going up. Pretty good range going in as well. A bit tight, but you just got to work at it. Yeah, there we go. So he can use both hands to hold his sword if he did have a right gripping hand, which he doesn't, unfortunately. For those ninja running poses, there really isn't as much going back as there is forward, but that's okay. Usually you do want more forward than going back. 360 rotation there at the shoulder. And you do have a very well hidden bicep swivel and fantastic double jointed arms. Really good there. Standard swivel and hinge there at the wrists, which is great. Yeah, really good range there at the wrists. Good for weapon, sword holding poses. I really like the torso. It's solid both at the top and the bottom. You do have a floating piece here in the middle of his waist. And you also have the bottom half of the tunic. So it's 4 pieces, the upper, lower, this kind of midsection, and the lower half of his shirt or tunic. But he does get really good crunch going forward. So I mean, if they can get this much crunch without using, softer rubbery plastic in the mid-torso, then yeah, doing good things there with the Naruto line. Really good going back. Fantastic side to side. Swivel there is at the lower waist, which is great. So yeah, really good ab section, torso section, articulation there for Itachi. For the legs, he kicks forward and back. Not so much back, but he does kick forward about 90 degrees. It's not fantastic, but it's okay. But he does get a really good spread, which is nice. You do have your thigh cut, double knees, which gets a really good range. This is a Naruto line figure, so you do get that hidden, I guess, calf cut, which is great, and you also get that ball joint there where the ankles connect as well, which is fantastic. Can be a little bit fiddly sometimes, but I am glad that they did include, or they do include, that bit of articulation with all of the figures in the line. Feet go down. Feet go up really well. You get a swivel there at the ankle, your toe hinge, and of course some really good ankle pivot. So yeah, really fantastic articulation with Itachi. Really the only thing, and it's not really a big deal, is just his head looking up. But other than that, without the cloak, it's fantastic. With the cloak, it's a different story. But I'm with such a strong base, I'm pretty sure you can still get Itachi in some pretty dynamic, fun poses. So yeah, enjoy. Alright, so there's actually quite a lot of hands to unpack here. We get 6 different options, including 2 fists for punching, 2 fireball jutsu hands, which really kind of stumped me the first time I pulled them out. I honestly didn't know what these were for, but looking back at some previous episodes with Itachi in them, I've actually found him using these hands during his fireball jutsu. A couple of open palm action hands. We get some classic jutsu hands for all your jutsu needs. A pair of relaxed hands for resting his arms in his cloak. And a set of hands for holding his katana and sheath. I wouldn't necessarily say this is disappointing, but Itachi can only hold his katana with his left hand, which led me to believe that he was left-handed. Not the case though. I think most shinobi are ambidextrous, but you experts let me know in the comments, are any of the characters in Naruto left-handed? Anyway, we get a pretty standard looking katana, reddish brown hilt and a silver blade. But we also get the half-drawn katana and sheath together, which you can't actually take out. So it's either this option or the unsheathed blade itself. You can't put the katana in the sheath, and we don't get a sheathed katana, which I guess is fine since it's meant to recreate, Itachi from the group shot in Narutop99. But I don't know, I was half expecting it to come with your usual options when it comes to swords. So I really do dig this figure, but that's coming from a collector who's only seen past several episodes from Shippuden. But I'm sure for die-hard fans of Itachi and the Akatsuki, there is a whole lot more that you'd want from this release, and I kind of feel the same way too, even though I'm really not that familiar with Itachi in the later arcs of the manga. I'm sure there are a ton of abilities, jutsu techniques people would have liked as accessories. I, for one, would have really liked some crows, but I think there's definitely room for upcoming add-ons with Itachi. And with the upcoming pain, I think there will be plenty of opportunities for bonus parts. The figure itself is exactly what I expected from a Naruto line release. On-point sculpt work and phenomenal articulation. Again, I think Tamashii has done a pretty good job with its first soft goods in the line, and if they continue to improve, if they continue to push the boundaries, there really isn't anything the line can't achieve within the realm of its scale, that is. Still, I think it would be really cool to see a fully articulated Kurama. I'm really looking forward to seeing more Akatsuki with this line. I think after Pain, I'd really like to see Tamashii tackle something a little bit more challenging like Sasori, both versions, but I'm not really sure how they'd manage the logistics with something like that. But with everything that's going on with the line so far, I expect nothing less than having the full Akatsuki team in my collection. Alright guys, that's it from me. We have a jam-packed month for September, including one of my most anticipated releases for this year, full Power Frieza. So make sure you stay notified, make sure you are subscribed, likes and comments are always appreciated. Remember to do your push-ups and I'll see you real soon.
よろしく